Hello there you guys, welcome to another of my videos. We fear that we will miss out on Harry Kane forever if we don't sign him in the summer transfer window. Harry Kane is ready to ask Tottenham to listen to transfer offers this summer. It recently said the Glazers are planning to sanction a £90 million bid. I'm very sceptical that £90 million will be enough to convince Tottenham to offload him. Earlier on this season, it said that Harry Kane will ask to leave Tottenham if they fail to qualify for the Champions League. He said earlier on this season, Harry Kane, he wants to win team trophies. That was after Tottenham's Carabao Cup final defeat to Man City. Tottenham have not won a trophy for 13 years. He did say earlier on this season that Harry Kane has decided that he wants to stay in the Premier League if he decides to leave Tottenham, because it said earlier on this season that PSG were looking to beat us and City to the signing of Harry Kane. David Einstein spoke about it earlier on this season. He said he spoke to people in football. He said Harry Kane wants to leave Tottenham because he's unhappy. He said he's committed to Tottenham whilst he's there, but he wants to win the biggest trophies and he hasn't been experiencing this at Tottenham. He said earlier on this season that Harry Kane refused to commit his future to Tottenham. It said he's delaying his transfer decision until after the Euros. Tottenham's chairman Daniel Levy said not so long ago that Tottenham will only consider offers starting at £125 million for Harry Kane. We've been in for Kane now for a long time, and I would take him at Manchester United even though he'd cost a substantial amount, because Harry Kane would assure us goals. He's regarded as one of the best strikers in the world and he's well proven in the Premier League. Kane has endured 17 years at Tottenham. He's been in their senior squad since 2009. He's under contract with Tottenham until 2024. He's won the Golden Boot a couple of times, reflecting on his good performances, and he's now leading the way for this season's Golden Boot. Kane's had loan spells before with Leyton Orient, Millwall, Norwich and Leicester. I think Kane is around 27 years of age. We are still interested in getting a striker in, even though Edinson Cavani is staying at Manchester United for next season. Romero confirmed not so long ago that Cavani has signed a contract extension with Man United. It is a 1-year deal. Now, Jadon Sancho wants a move to Manchester United this summer. The Manchester Evening News said yesterday that Jadon Sancho is pushing for a transfer out of Dortmund this summer. Now, it said Man United are ready to offer £77 million and we want to complete a deal for Sancho before the European Championship. Sancho recently admitted he's unsure where his future lies. Jadon Sancho's preference would be to leave Borussia Dortmund and go to a team playing in the Champions League. Fabrizio Romano said not so long ago that Sancho would be 100% happy to join Man United this summer, because he did mention that Sancho was keen on a move to Man United last summer. A few clubs are interested in him. Bayern Munich recently entered the race. Chelsea are interested in him, and Liverpool are now back in for him. Earlier on this season, Borussia Dortmund admitted that they'll sell Sancho for the right price this summer. And Borussia Dortmund's CEO did reveal that the club will discuss exceptional offers for the winger. Last summer, Sancho was our number one priority target. Sancho to Man United last summer was extremely close. You know, the personal terms had been agreed, the agent fees had been agreed, and a contract had been agreed. But the reason we didn't get him is because we couldn't come to an agreement on an actual fee. Dortmund were demanding around £108 million and we was reluctant to meet their valuation. We was only willing to pay so much up front. Dortmund made it clear to us last summer that we had until the 10th of August to sign the player. We missed out on that deadline, so Sancho remained at Dortmund. This has been Jadon Sancho's fourth season at Borussia Dortmund. Analysing the vast majority of his career at Dortmund, he's been very consistent. And I would take him at Manchester United because he'd dramatically improve us, he'd create good chances for us, and he would assure us goals, and he would fit in our team perfectly. And I can assure he would exceed expectations in the Premier League. He'd replicate what he's done at Borussia Dortmund. Dortmund paid just £8 million for him from Man City in 2017, and he's under contract until 2023 with Dortmund. Dortmund confirmed earlier on this season that they've got a gentleman's agreement with Sancho over the possible transfer. But yeah, they did lower their asking price. It said they will accept around £78 million. It recently said we was looking at Kingsley Coman as an alternative to Sancho. Declan Rice, he's been another player on our agenda. Haven't really read up about him though recently. The last time I read up, it said that Declan Rice asked Harry Maguire and Luke Shaw about life at Old Trafford. Darren Fletcher, who's our technical director, did say that Declan Rice asked about Manchester United when he was on international duty with England. Reports came out the other month saying that Rice was interested in joining Man United. Says earlier on this season, West Ham would demand £100 million, if they were to sell him. But earlier on this season, it said that Solskjaer agreed with our recruitment team that Declan Rice would be the perfect signing for the club. The main reasons I take him at Man United is because he's predominantly a holding midfielder, and Man United need a holding midfielder. He can also be deployed as a centre-half. He's well proven in the Premier League. He breaks up the play well, and he's still young, and he's got a lot of development in him. Rice has been a long servant at West Ham. He's been with them for like 7 years now. Got a contract with them until 2024. Before he was at West Ham, he was at Chelsea. He was in their youth setup for several years, but he never got in Chelsea's first team. And last year, Chelsea wanted Declan Rice, didn't they? It was Lampard's number one target when Lampard was there. In the summer transfer window, I'm expecting Man United to do good business. I'm expecting us to make around 3 or 4 signings. And I've identified the areas in the squad where we need to strengthen up. The summer transfer window will be Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's 5th transfer window as permanent Man United manager. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is aware of how big the summer transfer window is going to be for himself and Manchester United in general. Solskjaer's made it clear that he wants good backing, and I'm expecting him to get the backing he deserves because we've got John Murtough, he's our director of football. we've got Darren Fletcher, and we've got Matt Judge, and Matt Judge has been part of the club for a while. Solskjaer did warn earlier on this season that we may not do business as usual due to the pandemic, but he said he's interested in bringing in players that'll be a perfect fit for the club. Quite a few players are going to leave Manchester United in the summer transfer window, so in that aspect we'll generate money and it will help us with our rebuilding process. I think there's a good chance that David De Gea will leave Manchester United in the summer transfer window. Some United fans reckon that it would be a mistake getting rid of David De Gea, but I don't think it would be, because I reckon now he's had his years at Manchester United. De Gea is now our second choice goalkeeper because Dean Henderson is now our number one. And Solskjaer can't reassure if De Gea will retain his place in the Europa League final. Earlier on this season, it said that De Gea had made his transfer decision. He said he's preparing to leave Manchester United, and Man United are set to pay off his huge contract. De Gea has 2 years left on his current contract and is on £375,000 a week. He said earlier on this season that we'd set the price for De Gea, it's £50 million. It recently said that Jose Mourinho wants De Gea at Roma. But I said there's a good chance that De Gea will go back to Spain. Main explanations is because he was born in Spain, his relatives are from Spain, his girlfriend's from Spain. He began his footballing career in Spain, and back in 2015 he was very close to joining Real Madrid, but due to a fax machine the deal never materialised. De Gea has endured 10 years at Manchester United, so he's been a long servant, and I reckon he's had around 8 good years out of the 10 years he's been with us. In the last couple of years he's been a liability, reflecting on the mistakes he's made, but a few years ago he was regarded as the best goalkeeper in the world. De Gea's won everything domestically at the football club, and he's made over 500 appearances in all competitions. Sergio Romero, I'm expecting us to offload him because he doesn't get in our team. You know, Romero is like our 3rd or 4th choice goalkeeper now. We got him on a free from San Pandora back in 2015. So he's been at the club over 5 years now. It was Louis van Gaal that recommended Sergio Romero in. Most of Romero's appearances have come in the cup games. Phil Jones, I'm also expecting us to offload him because he's always been inconsistent. He doesn't get in our 11 and he's been out of injury for over a year now. Phil Jones is the only outfield player that's still here from the Ferguson era. This has been Phil Jones' 10th season at Manchester United, so he's been a long servant. Brandon Williams, I think we should consider loaning him out because Brandon Williams doesn't get in our team. He seldom plays, and he is our 3rd choice left back. He played a lot of games last season, Williams. That's only because Luke Shaw had a couple of periods out with injury. At the start of this season, we give Brandon Williams that number 33 shirt. He did play against Leicester recently. He played at right back, but he's nowhere near effective on the right as he is on the left. So it would be beneficial to loan him out so he can get more opportunities, and obviously it'll gain him more experience. Axel Tuanzebe, I think we should also offload him because he doesn't really get in our 11. Tuanzebe did play against Leicester recently and I thought he was poor. The best game I recall Tuanzebe having was PSG. He was superb in that game. Nemanja Matic, I think we should offload him in the summer transfer window because he's not one of our first choice midfielders, but he still gets his chances. And he can perform well, can Matic. He really can. He can bring stability. Sometimes he can get forward well. He can pass the ball well. Defensively, he can be good. But in a lot of his games at Man United, he has been inconsistent. He's always been a static player. That's why I've got my reservations about him. We got Matic in a deal worth 40 million from Chelsea back in 2017. So he's been at the club now a few years. Juan Mata, I think there's a good chance that we'll offload him in the summer transfer window because he doesn't really get in our 11. He did play against Leicester recently though. He started in the number 10. I reckon Juan Mata's had a good career at Man United. He's been at the club now over 6 years. We got him in a deal worth 40 million from Chelsea back in 2014, and at the first part of this season, Juan Mata rejected an 18 million a year contract offer to play in Saudi Arabia. Juan Mata's current contract, I think, expires next month. There is an option to trigger his contract for a further year. And a lot of United fans are saying that we need to offload Anthony Martial in the summer transfer window because he's no longer good enough to represent Man United and he has been out of form for the vast majority of this season. Yeah, the chances have been there for Martial, but he hasn't converted them. Martial's out with a knee injury at the moment. He's been out for a while. Solskjaer's hopeful that he will be back for the Europa League final. I reckon Martial's had 2 good seasons. He was good in his debut season under Van Gaal and he was good last season. And he's now been at the club over 5 years. I think it was last season Solskjaer gave Martial that number 9 shirt. But there's a lot of players that will stay at Man United in the summer transfer window, and I reckon there's quite a few players that have got long-term futures at the club. Now, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is our best manager since Ferguson. He does deserve at least one more season at Manchester United. I hope he's a long-term manager for Man United, but I'm very, very sceptical that he is the long-term manager. Quite a lot of United fans will agree with me on that aspect. But a lot of United fans are Ole Gunnar Solskjaer in, 100%. But there's also been a lot of United fans that have been demanding Ole Gunnar Solskjaer out. Obviously, they've got their reasons why they've been demanding him out. A lot of United fans have criticised him. To be honest with you, I didn't expect Solskjaer to do as well as he has done, so I am actually shocked in that aspect. This has been Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's second full season at Man United. He's been Man United manager now over 2 years. Solskjaer knows how imperative it is to get his first trophy on the board as Man United manager. We are in the Europa League final. We do play Villarreal. It's Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's first major final as Man United manager and it's our 8th European final. We haven't won a trophy since 2017. Solskjaer did say the other month winning trophies can be an ego thing. The reason Solskjaer is still Manchester United manager is because he's a club legend, so that's what's basically saved him. Disregarding being a club legend, I can almost assure he wouldn't have been here now because we have endured very bad periods under Ollie where he can turn around and say, yeah, he was lucky not to be sacked. But our board and that have got a soft stance on him with him being a legend of the club. But whether Solskjaer succeeds or not, we'll still always adore him because Ollie endured 11 years as a player for Man United and he flourished under Sir Alex Ferguson's guidance. Solskjaer's most iconic moment as a player was 1999, when he scored the winner in the Champions League final that won the club the treble. That is obviously the club's greatest achievement. Solskjaer has just under a year left on his current 3-year contract. But he said earlier on this season that Ollie agreed a 3-year contract worth 30 million, likely to be 2 years with an option of an extra one. Solskjaer has gained managerial experience, reflecting now on he's been with us and he's learnt quite a bit on the job. My concerns about Ollie is that he hasn't got a proven pedigree as a manager, but that doesn't mean he can't succeed as Man United manager, and his decision making also concerns me. But there is also a lot of positives regarding Ollie as well. He's brought consistency. We've enjoyed very good periods under him. He has made good signings as Manchester United manager. He's spent almost £300 million. Obviously, the players that he's brought in is Daniel James and Wan-Bissaka, Harry Maguire. Brought Bruno Fernandes in, and he brought Odin Ighalo in on loan, but Ighalo left in January. And also brought Donny van de Beek in, Alex Telles, Edison Cavani, Mad Diallo Traore and Facundo Pellistri. But we'll loan Facundo Pellistri out in January. Solskjaer's not got all the players that he wanted to recommend in yet. In that aspect, the blame stems from the board, but the board has been one of the biggest problems at the club anyway for a long time. Reflecting now how poor our recruitment policy's been, we've also overpaid for players. And in general, the managers that we've had since Ferguson retired haven't got the players that they wanted to recommend in. Solskjaer's got rid of a lot of players since he's come in as well. He's done well in a lot of aspects this season. He got us to the EFL Cup semi-final, the FA Cup quarter-final. He's got us to the Europa League final. We're second in the Premier League. We're probably going to finish second. We're guaranteed Champions League football for next season. We've got a very good away record in the Premier League under Ollie. We are unbeaten in our last 25 Premier League away games, so we haven't lost away from home in the Premier League for over a year. Ollie did well last season, his first full season at the club. He guided us to 3 semi-finals, got us qualification for the Champions League and got us a 3rd place finish. Solskjaer's beaten quite a few big-name managers as Man United manager. And I like the way he has promoted the youth. So they are the positives regarding Ollie. We did appoint Solskjaer in December 2018 to replace Mourinho. He's been permanent Man United manager since March 2019. We give Solskjaer the job permanently a couple of years ago, reflecting how well he did as the interim manager. Solskjaer is our 4th permanent manager since Ferguson. The 3 managers we've sacked since Ferguson was David Moyes, we sacked him after 10 months. We sacked Louis van Gaal after 2 years, and we sacked Jose Mourinho after 2.5 years, and we're not even really known as a sacking football club. We hadn't only had different managers with different philosophies. Like I said, we've overpaid for players. We've spent over £1 billion in the last 8 years, and we've brought around 37 players in. Is it since Ferguson retired? We've won only 4 trophies since Ferguson. That was the FA Cup under Van Gaal, the Europa League, the League Cup and the Community Shield under Mourinho, if you want to count the Community Shield. We haven't won the Premier League since 2013. That's 8 years ago now, but in general, I think we've made mistakes in the last 8 years, and that's why we haven't been as consistent as we'd like to have been. I'm never expecting us to be the team we was under Ferguson, because like I've said so many times before, no one's going to replicate what Ferguson did at the club, and no one's going to last as long as he did. Ferguson enjoyed a 26, 27 year tenure at Man United. He won 30 odd trophies, including 13 Premier League titles. So reflecting on that, he brought success to the club, but Ferguson didn't settle in straight away because he didn't win out in his first 4 years at Man United. Good job he didn't get sacked in that 4 years when he didn't win anything, because we wouldn't have had hardly any success now, or no success at all, should I say. Before Ferguson, we had Ron Atkinson. Wasn't good under him. We had Franco Farrell at one point. We actually got relegated under Franco Farrell back in 1974, and we had Wolf McGuinness at one point, and we was very, very poor under him. I think Wolf McGuinness only endured 18 months at Manchester United. But Solskjaer, he knew when he'd taken over at Man United it was going to be a massive job, despite him knowing the club through thick and thin. But yeah, there's some United fans that think he's in a position that he shouldn't be really in. But yeah, we'll see what happens next season. If Solskjaer exceeds expectations, then he'll stay. If things go wrong next season, then I think there's a good chance that Man United will sack him. We do play Liverpool tonight, as you all know, at 8:15 kick-off at Old Trafford. Obviously the game got rearranged because we were supposed to play Liverpool on the 2nd of May, but obviously it got postponed because hundreds of our fans went inside Old Trafford and invaded the pitch to protest against the Glazers. I presume the game will go ahead tonight. I've already given you the preview for the game, and earlier on today I give you my starting 11 prediction for the game. You obviously know the news anyway regarding the Glazers. It says Man United fans are planning a second protest at Old Trafford. Will the Old Trafford protests force the Glazers out of the club? I hope so. Joe Glazer recently wrote a letter to Manchester United fans. Not so long ago, Avram Glazer refused to apologise over the European Super League. And Sky News caught up with him in Florida and he refused to answer any questions. Not so long ago, Solskjaer did say that the Glazers apologised to him. Solskjaer said the violent incidents went too far, but he said the club need to take notice of the fans. And not so long ago, Solskjaer was angry with Gary Neville over the Man United protests. Gary Neville had a few things to say on it, didn't he? He said the Glazers are to blame for the protests. And he said something else as well, did Gary Neville. Can't remember the other things he said, but that's one of the things he said. And he actually called the Glazers scavengers when obviously the European Super League come into the equation. He said not so long ago, though, the Glazers could be forced to sell Manchester United, but for only £4 billion. Before that, he said the Glazers have got no intentions of selling the club, so reflecting on that, he said they're here to stay. A few weeks ago, our fans protested against the Glazers at Carrington. Some of our fans blocked entrances into the Carrington training ground to protest, and obviously they was holding banners up. Solskjaer did say earlier on this season that the Glazer family will not sell Man United. And he told protesters that Joe Glazer loves the club. Earlier on this season, Joe Glazer released a statement and apologised to Man United fans over the European Super League. But we get the Glazers out, it'll definitely be the right decision by Man United, because the Glazers have put us in so much debt, so you can understand the fans' frustration. And in general, I just hate the way the football club has been run now for a long time. The Glazers bought Man United for $500 million in 2005, so they have been with us now for 16 years. You obviously know the news as well regarding Woodward. It got announced quite a few weeks ago that Woodward resigned as Man United vice chairman. He will stand down at the end of the year. I presume all United fans were happy with the news regarding Woodward because we've been critical of him for a long time. Woodward has had a 16-year association with Man United. Not so long ago, Ed Woodward's mansion got attacked by masked protesters. So there you go. So anyway guys, that's everything to update with today. Drop your comments, likes below on the channel. If you do, consider subscribe as always, and take care. God bless you all again very, very soon.